Good morning. It's not sunshine, which I would prefer, but it is still absolutely beautiful. I'm Shalina Harris, the wife and mom of the Harris Family Tribe, and I'm excited this morning. Let me get everything set back up. So this morning, I'm super excited about something. Like I've been... water is getting on my phone. I'm just going to have to hold it. Y'all going to have to bear with me. So, I am excited because have you ever been at that point in your life and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do next? I just don't know what to do. I got an answer for you. And you have to, I usually don't do Bible studies because I'm that person that might leave something out or I might forget something. So bear with me, and if anybody wants to jump on here and help, I'll be more than happy to have you come on. First, I want to go back just a little bit, and it says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, don't look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord doesn't see as man sees, for he looks at the man looks at the outward appearance, and the Lord, he looks at our hearts." I really need to set this phone down. But what I want to share with you today is that David. Let's talk about David for just a minute. He was a shepherd. You know, he just watched over the flock. If you just think of him being a shepherd boy, then you know you're like, well, you know, he was just a shepherd boy. What was he doing before that? And he was out in the fields working, and he would just play his guitar. He was just out there playing his guitar. The Lord had given him a gift. Play your guitar. So he's just, or lyre. I guess it's a lyre. Lyre, I'm not certain what the difference is in a lyre and a guitar, but the Bible's calling it a lyre, and I'll Google that later. So he's just out in the field, and he's just, you know, strumming on his lyre. And so we have this king, and this king is troubled. And he, one of his people, he says, you know, why don't you get somebody to come in here and play some music? Get somebody that can just make you calm down, make things better. I know this great guy. He's just an awesome, awesome guy. And so he's like, yeah, go get him. Guess who they go get? They go get David. And David comes to the king, and he is just like playing music. And then Saul, he's calmed. I think it's Saul. Saul and Samuel, I'm getting them two mixed up. But it's Samuel, I believe. He's calmed down. He's like, man, this is good. And he wants to keep David. He wants David to stay right there where he is. And so, you know, David accepts, and he goes back, and then he's at home, and his father tells this man to go do something. He could have said, I'll play for the king, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, awesome. But David listened to what his father said, and he took his brothers some lunch, or, you know, I assume it was day-old bread or whatever. He took that out to them in their field. And when he went, he had the opportunity, because he listened, he had the opportunity to fight Goliath. But you know why? He went to the king because the king had a problem, and he wanted to be a problem solver for that king. He wanted to serve his king. He wanted to say, you have a problem? I can play the guitar? Awesome. Nothing else. He didn't go in and put in an application and say, I want to sign up to be king. So then he goes out into the field, and the problem is Goliath. He's the problem. And, you know, there's David, and he's thinking, all right, here's the problem. I don't like this problem, and I'm a problem solver. Put a problem solver in the comments if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to solve a problem. I think we all have. If you're living, walking, breathing, talking, you've had a problem that needed solved. So David looks at this, and we all know the story of Goliath, David and Goliath. He takes the stones, but what he took was his faith. He took his problem-solving skills. He took that and he said, you know what? I, with the faith that I have in God, can solve this problem. So I just wanted to, my message this morning is, what is it that you're waiting to do? What is it that you, have you ever been in that position where you're like, God, what do you want me to do? I'm here. What do you want me to do? And you're just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Go back to the last thing that he had you do. Go back to the last thing of making forks. As crazy as it may sound to somebody that you're just like, oh, made 20 forks. Go back to sending somebody a good word, a good testimony like Joe Smith does every morning. Go back to like Amanda Nicolo sending me prayers every morning. I want y'all to know that she sends me prayers over my family every single morning. Every morning, without fail. She prays for my family. She prays for my friends. She prays for anybody in my life. Go back to Jacob helping a neighbor. Go back to what you put in the comments. I want to know, what was the last thing you done that you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that's what you were supposed to do. You knew it. It did not matter what the odds were. It did not matter what was up against you. It did not matter if you had 10 things that needed checked off. What was that last thing that you done that you knew was 100% where it needed to be? Go back to that, because that's what God's saying. He's saying you go back, strumming your guitar. You go back to being a problem solver. You just go back there and you start doing that thing, because I'm sending people. I'm going to send people. They're going to come and get you. They're going to come and say, you know what, I need you to play a guitar here. And, this just, it excites me, because you think back when David, and like I said, I'm not the best remember with scriptures and everything, but there's a time when Jesse is David's dad. So there's a time that a king called and said, Jesse, I want to see your sons. I want to see your sons. Bring them to me. You got an anointed son somewhere. So Jesse goes out. He gets all his best sons, and he brings them. And there's all his best sons. He didn't get David, because David's out in the field. David's out working. He's the little scrawny kid. He's the one that you're like, yeah, there's old David. He is that kid that is out in that field. Have you ever felt like that, David? Have you ever felt like that? He's out there working. Here's the brothers, and the king's passing by, or probably a worker for the king. And he's passing by, and he said, nope, 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 nope. Jesse, I know you got more sons. Where's that other son? These aren't the ones I'm looking for. Where is that other son? Let me go get him out of the field. Ringing the bell. Ring that old dinner bell. And he brings David in. He says, this is the anointed one. This is the son. And so, it goes all the way back. And it just keeps going back, and it keeps going back. And it reminds me, as I'm praying for my Down Home Mama group and what we need to do in there, and how, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, it doesn't matter. I know that's where I'm supposed to be. And when I'm praying over that group and thinking, what do I need? I'm brought back to the prayers of my grandmother. I'm brought back to the prayers of my aunts. I'm brought back to a living room that was divided by levels, and it was a prayer altar. I'm brought back to that time when I was so young that I did not understand the words that were being said. I'm brought back to a time that my family was prayed for right there before I had kids. Remember, I didn't want kids. I wanted donuts. I'm brought back to that time when I'm right there and I'm hearing it. I'm brought back to a time of my grandmother putting her hands up. I want to show y'all something. When Moses done great things in the Bible, his hands were up. He was accepting it. His hands were up, accepting in abundance. And when Moses spoke, it was happening. He was in abundance. And my grandmother held her hands up, and she accepted and prayed in abundance. I guarantee you the day she was walking down the sidewalk, she was praying for her family. And she was calling their names out. She was calling them out one by one by one. She called them out. She taught her daughters to do it. She taught us to do it. And then I think back, who taught my grandmother? Who taught my grandmother to pray? How many prayers back did my kids reap the benefits of today? How many prayers back are my kids walking in the path that they're walking because of the prayers that were prayed generations, generations, and generations and generations ago? You know, I want to tell you today, the prayers that you're praying, the prayers you're praying for your future kids, your grandkids, your neighbors' kids, those prayers are being heard, and if a time stands, they will be answered. And when you pray accepting in abundance. And when you see a problem, if God has given you a gift to be a problem solver, if He's given you the gift of recognize when somebody's sad, recognize when somebody's lonely, and they just need a card, if He's given you that gift, you go play your guitar, you go send your card. If you go sing, if you go take somebody to dinner, no matter what that gift is, it's not too small. It is not too small. I don't care if it's just sending a pretty little picture to somebody that says, I love you. If it's sending a text, it is not too small. You are a David. You are a problem solver, and you've been prayed for generations, generations, and generations ago. Anyway, I was so excited for this message because I want you all to know you have a purpose. I want you to know that if you feel like you're out there working in the field and your best asset is to dig ditches. Your best asset is to wash rocks. Never in a million years, if you were in my family, we have so many stories about washing rocks that it's... But you know what? We all gather rocks. I don't know not one of us that are not walking around and we gather rocks and we put them in our pockets. I wash my kids' clothes and there's rocks. Like, I can pick handfuls of rocks and I lay them on the counter and the kids come. That's my prayer stone. Oh, that's my prayer stone. I've sent people rocks. I've sent them those rocks. I've went and I've seen rocks and I've washed them because I want them to look good. I've washed them. I've prayed over them. I've carried them in my pockets. I've rubbed them. I've said, Lord, bless this person abundantly. I've took people rocks. Crazy as it sounds, here's your rock. I just want you to know that you matter. You are important. If you're a rock collector, if it is your job to deliver mail, there is a purpose for you. There is a purpose for every single thing. And don't think that it is too small. But I hope I did not butcher the Bible too bad. And I would recommend going and reading, you know, just Samuel. This is Samuel 16 is, you know, what I was reading to just talk about how, you know, just he played his guitar. He grained his horses. He swept the streets. Anything. And I want to let you know, if you're not happy where you are and what you're doing, there's something different. There is something different on your life. You don't have to waste it. You have to have faith. You have to have so much faith. Actually, you only need faith the size of a mustard seed, but you have to have your faith so determined, so strong, secure, that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. And when you get to a point in life where you're like, man, I wonder, have your accountability partner. Have your accountability partner that is going to say, you know, don't forget. Don't forget your strengths. Don't forget how well you play your guitar. Don't forget how well you play your lyre. Don't forget how well you muck the barn. Don't forget those things. So I want to tell you today, don't forget those things. Don't forget those little things. Caring for your animals. Caring for the state parks. You know, if you're going out in a state park and you're picking up your trash and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that's what you love to do, then you should by all means do it. And if it doesn't seem like there's any way possible, like there, how in the world can this happen? It will. But you all have an amazing, amazing, amazing blessed day. Be a David in the field, playing your guitar, and love every single minute of it. And if you found this helpful, feel free to share and be excited about your day. Be you, be kind, inspire somebody. And it has not given me the option to stop this video.